Checking in now with our next guest because he was very critical back in early March, about what the president was saying about the initial round of tariffs. He's just back from China tonight. We'll see how he feels tonight. Republican Senator from Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, who sits on the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, great to have you with us.
Good evening, Shannon. How are you doing?
I am very good. I want to play a little bit of what the president had to say. It was in Kristen's piece there, and us to break it down on where you think we are tonight. Here's what the president said.
And in many respects, I think we're going to have a fantastic relationship long-term with China, but we have to get this straightened out. We have to have some balance.
Okay, so who should play the lead role here? The president, Congress? Should you all be weighing in on these trade tariffs and big, bold moves by the administration?
Well, the president obviously has the negotiating authority. And, I'm concerned. Take a look at what the Dow futures are telling you based on the latest rhetoric. I was just over in China, and from my standpoint, the top priority of our relationship with China ought to be to encourage them to cooperate with us in sanctions against North Korea so that we don't have a massive slaughter of human life if that thing were to blow up into military conflagration. So that's ought to be our primary focus right now, is making sure that we can take care of the North Korean situation and then work with our other trading partners to make sure that China actually does follow the rules of global trade, which it has not done in the past. Mm-hmm. But China's in a different place today than it was 10 years ago. The Chinese officials we were talking to openly stated that they don't want a trade surplus. Now, I take everything with a grain of salt, but if you really take a look at the innovation that they are creating themselves, if you take a look at the challenges they face, another billion people in poverty, which is a primary goal of theirs, I think we need to redefine our goal toward our relationship with China to seek win-win situations, which basically is what the president's saying right there, is he wants to have a good relationship with China. This just seems kind of a interesting way of trying to maintain a good relationship and get their cooperation on North Korea.
Well, and I know that you've said that Chinese leaders have a great deal of pride. You mentioned a win-win situation. They have to save face. Our president's going to want to as well. So how does this standoff end?
Well, right now, it doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. It just keeps getting ratcheted up. And what's such a shame here and what's unfortunate is this president's done a great job at ending the increase in the regulatory burden, which has brought a great deal of certainty to our economy. We also made American businesses competitive, gave American taxpayers, virtually every one of them, a tax cut. That brought so much certainty and optimism to the economy. And all this talk of trade wars and tariffs and retaliation is bringing a high level of uncertainty. And just take a look at the markets. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about North Korea, since you were just there and discussing very tough matters with folks in the region. A piece in Forbes says this by Roger Baker. He says Washington and Pyongyang have a long history of failed agreements between them. Still, the differences in circumstances this time around, however slim, may offer a chance for different results. This comes as the White House is talking about our president sitting down with their leader, Kim Jong-un. What's your take of the situation ahead of that?
First of all, I think there's a great deal of difference in the circumstance right now that President Trump's maximum pressure campaign is working. We met with two different defectors, and they know the deprivation in North Korea, and yet they were asking us to maintain that pressure, because that's the only way that you're going to reduce the oppression of the Kim Jong-un regime. And let's face it, President Xi is not happy with Kim Jong-un. He set off 3 missile tests while President Xi was hosting the G20 in China. Very insulting. And President Xi also realizes that nuclear proliferation in Asia is not in China's best interest. So I think the situation has changed dramatically, and the maximum pressure campaign needs to be maintained until North Korea completely dismantles its nuclear program in a very verifiable way. And that's what we need China to help us to make sure that we achieve.
Well, and there are plenty of skeptics out there that can actually be achieved. But as the talks in the regions continue, and then potentially between the U.S. And North Korea directly as well, we will continue to watch that situation. Senator Johnson, welcome back, and thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.
You too.